what an honor to welcome you, guest Stephanie Urchick. You are the second woman international president for Rotary. Welcome.
Well, Barbara, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this special podcast. I am honored to be here.
And we are so honored to have you here. You know, Stephanie, you think about Rotary International. I was invited to join the Rotary E-Club of World Peace, which we created after the World Peace Conference. I'm wearing my 2016 badge. And then in 1988, I was invited to join the Hollywood Rotary Club.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah, and you've been a Rotarian how long now?
Well, officially 33 years. I just began year 34 on October the 1st.
You don't look old enough to be in the
Rotary. Thank you for the compliment.
Oh, you deserve it. And you travel the world and you don't have this kind of exhausted look. And so I so admire you. You know, I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Well, thank you. That's another compliment. You know, sometimes I'm glad I don't look the way I feel.
Well, we smile a lot. I always learn that smiling is important. You're looking at Stephanie A. Urchick, the Rotary Club of McMurray, Pennsylvania, international president of Rotary. Can you imagine? We have our second woman. She's president for 2024-25, and she's an amazing woman. Do you realize that she served Rotary in many roles, from foundation trustee to the chair of the Rotary International Strategic Planning Committee? And to learn more about her, go to ri.org, Rotary International. She's a partner and chief operating officer of Doctors at Work, LLC, holds a doctorate in leadership from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And she's active in many community experiences and committees and boards. And she's been honored many, many times. And I am so delighted that she is going to give you her wisdom in the next 20 minutes. And I'm Barbara Gon-Mueller, and you're listening to peacepodcast.org. Oh, I just am so delighted you're here, Stephanie. I want to jump right out of my chair and come and give you a big hug because I'm so admiring you and the work that you're doing. So with this world facing the incredible challenges today, the disasters driven by climate change and conflict in many regions, what are you finding as you travel around on behalf of Rotary International?
Well, I'm finding that the world is a mess. And, you know, that's not news to anybody. We just have to turn on our television or pick up our device or open a newspaper or look at the computer. The world is really a mess. There's so much going on. But what heartens me is that in Rotary, we have tools at our disposal as Rotarians that help us create the environments that are necessary for peace. And we do it every time we engage in a project. Every time we do something in the name of Rotary, we are taking a peace action. That's what makes me so excited about the possibilities of peace. Peace is there, and we can prevent wars, and we can prevent all of these ugly things that are happening if we utilize the tools that we have in Rotary.
I'm with you. Utilizing the tools we have with Rotary. You know, so many of our courses talk about ending war, and so many of our courses even give us the possibility, like ending war 101, and we even have a course on that. But, you know, day to day, I feel so sad sometimes. I bet that happens to you too, as you travel.
Well, it is, but you know, I always remind people how easy it is to engage in even small peace actions. You know, the first Friday of every October is World Smile Day. I happened to be in Serbia on October the 4th. So the night before, I was at an institute. I told everyone at the institute, tomorrow is Smile Day. And I want you to go out of your way to smile at each other and to smile at me. And so that's what we did all day on Friday, because that's a peace action. When you smile at somebody, you're recognizing and acknowledging that that person is important, that person matters. How could you not be in a good mood and feel better, after somebody smiles at you? And it's such an easy thing to do.
It is, and it's very contagious. I find that when I smile, I just did a talk last week to a Rotary Club in person, which I couldn't believe. I mean, I've been doing all my speeches in Rotary on Zoom, and I went in person, and the first thing I did was smile. And it just lightened the whole place just to that
Absolutely.
smile. It works, doesn't
Absolutely.
it?
It does. It does. A very simple peace action that we can take every day.
And not only that kind of an action, but to say the words and wear your pins for peace and let the people hear you, you become the peace other people need. Have you noticed that?
That's absolutely true because I think people, especially people who understand Rotary a bit, and they know that we're an organization built on world understanding and peace. Every opportunity that we have to show our brand is an opportunity for people to hear more and feel more about peace building. One of the things I talk about frequently is the Rotary Peace Pole Project. These are visible monuments, really, that are placed in a park or a school campus, somewhere in a community where people can see it. And I love it because it says, "May peace prevail on earth," in English and in languages that represent the community. They have the master brand, the Rotary master brand, and it has a QR code that goes directly back to that local club or district. So anybody that walks by that peace pole is seeing that this is something that was placed here by Rotary, that Rotary is a peace building organization. And if I want to get involved, here's a QR code and I can learn more. I just love that project.
I love that project, and I met the fact that you met Larry Stober at a World Peace Conference, and there you were, and he came right up and spoke to you. And this is the magic of Rotary. Who do you meet? Who do you cooperate with? Who are you coordinating with for peace on the planet? Rotary operates in more than 200 countries and regions, and it's vital that we recognize the potential to become more effective and more efficient as we advance our world understanding, goodwill, and as you said, peace.
Right, right. Barbara, there's another simple Rotary tool that I talk about always, and that's our four-way test. It is a brilliant set of 4 sentences that, really, if people and Rotary clubs and districts would put their thoughts, words, and deeds through that filter, we really would have a more peaceful society. The 4 sentences: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all? I mean, when I reach out to Rotary clubs, I often ask them, are you living it or just reciting it? Because there's a big difference. Using those 4 sentences as a guide for what we do really does create an environment that is more peaceful.
Boy, you're absolutely right. And I think about people, I always ask people who are going to be on the podcast, give us a call to action. And you've already given us one call to action to really know what this four-way test means and to really be present. And I wrote a book, Revolutionary Conversations, to allow people to hear somebody who may not agree with you. And there are many times when people are, especially now with the election coming up, we're having differences of opinion. How do you handle that, Stephanie, when you're on so many committees? I mean, you've been there. You're on the Strategic Planning Committee, and I pray the Strategic Planning Committee says, yes, we can end war, but you tell me what you do to bring these differences into harmony.
The fact that we are such a diverse organization is what makes us strong. So we have to remember that people will have and do have different ideas. People look at the world from different perspectives. So our strength is the fact that we can agree to disagree. We agree to listen, and most of what we do, though, is built on consensus. Now, that doesn't mean one is right or wrong. It just means that you get to a middle ground and you agree that this is the way to move forward. And that's such a strong way to advocate for peace, to build consensus. Again, that's not necessarily one's wrong and one's right. It's just getting to that middle ground.
Oh my gosh, I love that. As you're traveling in these countries, my husband would always tell me, don't go to a country until you're going to meet with the heads of states or the president, or write them a letter when you go home, and invite yourself into their chambers. And I have these pictures of my husband meeting with all of these important people. Do you get a chance to do that too?
Well, I do. Typically, it's when Rotarians make arrangements for the visiting president of Rotary to meet with either the president of the country or local mayors or people who are in what amounts to the local Congress. And very often we talk about the essence of Rotary and what Rotary means and about how all seven of our areas of focus lead us to peace. So they've always been interesting and fruitful conversations because I end up feeling that that particular government person now knows more about Rotary and how we are organized, and I know more about how they operate. So they've always been fascinating meetings.
I really think it's voices. Our voices have such power. And the fact that you have a Rotarian in your area saying, may I at least meet with the mayor? May I meet with the governor? And your voice will say, I represent Rotary. And I'm so proud because we're working on peace, as you mentioned in your wonderful Rotary magazine articles. Oh, I love it. I've underlined almost the whole thing. I mean, you have said, think the magic of Rotary. That's what I love about you. And I think in your tenure that you're going to be here till July. Am I correct?
Correct. July 1st, it becomes the next president.
Well, the magic of Rotary. Think about those words. It's like Jonas Salk saying, "Oh, we can end polio," and then not putting a patent on his polio vaccine. This is how I see you, Stephanie. I see you as a torchbearer, for want of a better word, a woman on a mission for peace.
Well, we're on this mission together, Barbara. There are 1.2 million helpers in this quest that we're on. And the thing that's important to remember about the magic of Rotary, when I talk about the magic of our organization, I'm talking about the wonder we create, the lasting change we create. It's almost close to, the miraculous things that we do. I'm not talking about sleight of hand or that kind of magic. This, I'm talking about the wonder. We really do create wonder for people.
And I have found, and you probably have too, that when I invite somebody to Rotary, they respond. And I think that's really important. I think that's what you're doing. You're inviting people to peace and you're inviting them to be a Rotarian. And it's that personal invitation that makes a big difference. So as you're meeting with these heads of states and these governors and all these other people who we want war to end, we want each of us to be a sense of health and well-being.
Absolutely. And since you mentioned the word invite, I want to remind all of the listeners that I'm inviting everyone who has an interest in peace building to join us in February for the Presidential Peace Conference and Celebration in Istanbul, Turkey, on February 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We will have a peace conference with marvelous speakers coming to talk about different areas of peace building, as well as the celebration of the newest Peace Center, Rotary Peace Center, which is opening at Bahçeşehir University. So that first group of peace fellows will be going through. So it will be a huge celebration. Anybody who's interested in Rotary and the pillars of peace and what we can do with the tools that we have should join me in Istanbul. I would love to see you all.
That is such a beautiful invitation. Our zoo is one of the people on the Rotary Action Group for Peace. And that's our goal in the Rotary Action Group for Peace, is to bring peace to the world and have Rotarians be members. And it's just so wonderful to have you talk about this conference, because conferences, when I went to the first World Peace Conference, I couldn't believe how many people came.
Yeah.
Tripping over Rotarians.
It's exciting. So registration is open and all the information is available at our website, rotary.org.
And I am going to put that as our sponsor. At the bottom of each of my Peace podcasts, I have a sponsor. And I'm going to put this Istanbul conference as a sponsor, because then people can sign up directly from just clicking on the link that I put there. Stephanie, I always say to all my guests, and I really thank you for today, because you are peace. Just looking at you, you have this peaceful demeanor, and I really appreciate that. I can see you just walking into a crowd and the whole crowd becoming peaceful and thinking, well, what does she have to say to me that I need to know? So what do you want to tell our viewers that they need to know about you, Stephanie, and about Rotary and about world peace?
Well, a few things. One, I want people to understand that Rotary is a different organization than it was when Paul Harris founded it in 1905. We're different. We've changed. We brought in women, obviously. We have new meeting models that allow people to come into the organization in different ways. You know, our E-Club for Peace, that's a direct result of how we changed in 2016 when our Council on Legislation created new models. So we have E-Clubs, and we have corporate clubs and passport clubs and cause-based clubs. So there's so many different ways now for people to come into this magic of our organization and to serve the community and to serve the world. So that's the message that I want to share. You know, if people are interested in what we do in peace building and all the other areas of focus, investigate us, because there's a place for everyone in Rotary.
Did you hear that? There's a place for everyone in Rotary. And I know, because when my attorney in Hollywood, I was at my PR company, he said, would you like to be a member of Rotary? And I said, I can't, I'm a woman. And he said, thanks to Sylvia Whitlock, we can have women. And I so admire the women of Rotary. And I thank you, Stephanie, for today, because today I got to understand your philosophy for peace, your work for peace, and the fact that you believe in the magic of peace. Just think, if this world were at peace, the magic that we could have in our homes and in our communities, the vegetables we could grow, and the destruction that would stop.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Barbara. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you.
It's my pleasure. And you're listening to peacepodcast.org, and I hope you will invite two friends to join you. Open up your computer, get on peacepodcast.org, and enjoy Stephanie. Thanks, Stephanie. You were fabulous. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye for now.